all new. AM1150WTMP.com.
Live at the seat of our pants, professional.
All right. Without wasting another valuable second, the show that many of you have been waiting on is here.
Live.
And I'm going to do a special shout out to my 11-year-old listener, Curtis Ward. His mom said he'd be listening, so I want to make sure.
Hello, Curtis.
I do a shout out, because again, I know this show appeals to a wide base of listeners, but when I found out that Curtis was a loyal fan,
he must be smart.
He took it down a notch because I knew teenagers were listening, but 11, he hasn't even got to be a teenager yet.
He's already this smart? Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, so just from the knowledge, being
pure knowledge.
disseminated from the radio.
I mean, we offer it up. That's right.
He's gonna learn something that nobody else in his class is gonna be aware of. So and we got a guest today, and I will let him introduce himself to you guys a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and get the show started, but I just wanted to make sure that folks was aware, because I spent part of the morning in a meeting with the mayor, Jane Castor, and she promised to some repeatedly, that we was going to get a black deputy mayor. Now that might not be officially what her title is, but we met her this morning, and her name is O.C. Wynn, and we're going to have her on Porch Talk Radio in a few weeks. I just wanted to get that out there. And the mayor says she has, just so we don't get it twisted or confused or I get a bunch of calls, says she has 4 administrators, but O.C. will occupy the position, especially to us and for our uses within the black community. She would be like the deputy mayor. The mayor say Tampa's not big enough because big cities have deputy mayor, even though they got one in St. Pete. I'm just saying. But anyway,
they're special.
Whatever. However, so we're gonna go ahead and get the show started, and we're gonna do what we do. And again, like I said, we got a special, guest today, and I will get them on board. And if you want to call in. For those who are regulars, you know what the call-in number is. If you want to call in during the show and be on the air, because again, this is the call-in show. The call-in number, WTMP, 813-251-9867. 813-251-9867. Okay, if you want to call me after the show, sometime during the week to discuss a topic, something that we talked about, or just say, great show, Eddie, I love what you're doing, or whatever. My cell phone number, Eddie Adams Jr. cell phone number, 813-212. Email, if you want to email me at Eddie, EDDIE, at PorchTalkRadio.com. Eddie at PorchTalkRadio.com. This has been a week probably unlike any other week I have had in my entire life. For one thing, the Strawberry Festival is here, and
last weekend,
as we know, as you guys know, we had a contest where we gave away. We had between shows and admission to the Strawberry Festival over 20 tickets that we gave away. So you guys had to go to the Facebook page and like the Facebook page.
Porch Talk Radio.
Porch Talk Radio, and on Facebook, and sign up and send me some information about yourself, Eddie at PorchTalkRadio.com, and it's been successful. I mean, we got rid of all the tickets, which is never hard to do, and I have to tell you, Monday night I saw Patti LaBelle.
She's still singing.
Wednesday I saw Chubby Checker.
How old is he? About 100 now?
Who has the all-time Billboard most popular song, The Twist. but again, you've been twisting for 70 years, you know.
He's twisting a little slower.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, he twists like a 70-year-old twist. So.
What's that hip?
70-plus-year-old. And then last night, I saw the ultimate 78-year-old, I guess, rock and funk star, if there's such a thing.
Okay.
You know, George Clinton, Parliament Funkadelic.
Oh my goodness.
And
flashlight.
That guy did a 2.5-hour show. And I mean,
78.
It was 2.5 hours of jumping, bumping, running, you know, rhyming, funking, and you know, anything else you want to say, you know, that they did. It was a great show. Now, of course, you know, at 78, he couldn't do all the stuff he used to do. You know, he actually did a couple of songs, sit down, and he'll stand up and catch his breath.
He could
do
them, just not as fast.
Sit down and catch his breath. You know, he's 78, so I give him that. You know, as Willie Lawson used to say, 78 is deadly. You know, in itself, you ain't gotta have nothing that's wrong with you. Sometimes 78 will run up on you and knock you down. So, so the fact that he's still performing, they still doing live shows, and they sounded great. The band is a lot younger, you know, but still they got some core performers. And tonight, me and my wife and some of you winners are going to see Charlie Wilson. So this has been a week, you know, that's 4, you know, historical acts, you know, in 1 week, you know, that I've been to. So that make this week something like I haven't seen or had since I was like in college or something. You know, because then you would go to a bunch of shows and see, you know, headliners like that. So anyway, you know, welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this Saturday, the first Saturday in March. And the year's jumping. I mean, it, you know, just yesterday.
It's running fast.
It was New Year's. Just yesterday was New Year's.
Running fast. You
know, and we got some stuff going on. We got some Corona. We're gonna talk about that. You know,
did you bring the limes?
We're gonna top off. We're gonna top off what we talked about last week with stuff people eat in China, because you know I was saying they eat rotten eggs and they eat bats and rats and cats and you know.
While they're alive.
There's no pets.
While they're alive.
You know they eat the rats. You know, and they eat crickets and they eat snails. You know, they eat ants. I mean, all the stuff that you see on a regular basis. Those folks those are meals. You know, people eat that stuff over there. So it's no wonder, you know, they come up with new viruses, you know, because again, our diet is a little different. So it's kind of hard for us to catch a virus from a bat, you know, because not many of us have bat on our regular menu.
Live bat.
Well, they slaughtered them in the market.
Oh, so, well, at least they got a standard.
So we don't have we're not slaughtering.
I'm thinking of the Osborne concert where you just bite off the bat heads.
And cats and dogs and stuff in the regular meat market. You're not gonna find that over here. So today we have a special treat, and I would like you know to introduce to those who don't know. And he's a good friend of mine, and he's been a good friend of the show.
Known for years.
For years and years and years, and I just want to make sure. You know, he has the opportunity to introduce himself, and I'm going to introduce him, you know, primarily to the black community, because I think most of the folks in the other community have seen or heard him or know of him. But you know how you black folks are, you know, y'all tend to say you don't get involved in Republican politics and some of that stuff. Y'all just say that because I know Trump is going to win. You know, with over 25% of the black population in the vote.
Could be 40%, Eddie.
This election cycle. So I'm saying, just saying 25%.
You're being conservative. That's good.
I'm not going to screw it up. And
Hispanics you know, going to pull up the slack a lot.
Okay, well, I look forward to that. So anyway, without any further ado, Jim Waurishuk, the chairman of the Hillsborough County Republican Executive Committee. Welcome this Saturday afternoon. How are you?
Well, we're doing great, and I want to say thank you, Eddie, for giving me the opportunity to be on the show again, and thanks to Gabriel for all the effort he's been doing. Yeah, this is a big year. It's 2020. You know, that's been the big promotional push for the last 3 years since Donald Trump was elected. Everybody automatically gravitated and pushed towards 2020, and you know that's been the big promotional thing. It's on hats, it's on T-shirts, it's on everything you can think of, and that really was part of the campaign. The campaign began almost the day after he was elected back in November 2016. So here in Hillsborough County, the fourth largest county in the state of Florida. We are working real hard with both our party and with candidates, as well as getting volunteers to go to work, and they've been working. In fact, we've had the regional director of the Trump Victory campaign, the 2020 Victory campaign, co-located with us right in our headquarters since last summer. And those of you who don't know, the Trump campaign in Florida, they've divided the state up into 8 or so districts, and Hillsborough County, where Tampa is, and Tampa Bay is a district in and of itself. We have our own regional director who is running that effort and doing a great job, and they're putting on a lot of events every week, whether it's doing things to get the vote out, voter registration, MAGA meetups, which has been a program adopted over the last few years, where we'll get together at a restaurant or at some facility and bring in speakers, do watch parties. So we're busy doing that, and we have the presidential preference primary coming up on March 17th, which will be where Florida makes its decision on who they're going to pick with regard to the candidates, whether it's Democrat or Republican. And of course, looks pretty much like Donald Trump will be the nominee from Florida, and then that will go forward and eventually to the convention in August up in Charlotte. So we're working pretty much 24/7. We've got people doing things all hours of the day and night, doing voter registration, doing get the vote out things, getting the word out on as many radio stations as we can. There's multiple stations. In fact, the Trump campaign has their own, and they're pairing up with as many stations as they can to get the word out. And one of the reasons that he invited me here today, and I hope I can do this on a regular basis, to talk about the things that are important for Floridians, particularly in Tampa Bay. And so come see us. We have our monthly meeting, second Thursday of the month, at the River Church over in the center part of Hillsborough County. Every month we try to have a couple of good keynote speakers. This month we're going to have speakers talking about some of the issues that are going to be on the ballot, certainly in Hillsborough. And so if you have some time, come out, stop by, join us. Again, it starts at 6 o'clock for our social networking, and then our regular meeting is at 7. And if you have a desire to join, we'd love to have you. We have lots of work to do. We need members and volunteers to do the wide range of things that we need to do in an election year, particularly a presidential election year. So that's what we're doing, and we'll certainly keep Eddie up to date on what's coming on. We're expecting a number of President Trump's rallies in Tampa.
All right.
That's excellent.
And in 2016, we did 5. We did 1 in 2018, and I know there will be a number of them in Hillsborough County, Tampa Bay area coming up. And
Excellent.
as you know, this president likes to go to as many cities as he can in the states where the Democrats are having either debates or having their caucuses or primaries. So we can anticipate perhaps for the presidential preference primary that maybe he will show up. Of course, we'll be the first to let you know when that happens.
Well, he went to California. You know, they had a rally in California, so that's unusual for Republicans.
Wouldn't you say, Jim, that he's doing the unusual? Because that's a no-no.
I think you're seeing things totally unorthodox from what normally would happen, and there is a strategy for California. And the real big strategy, I think people need to kind of kick back and take a look at, is he has got to rebuild the U.S. House of Representatives. He's got to replace
Yes, he does.
close to 40 seats, and the way things are going, I think he is going to do that. And they're looking at California possibly flipping up to 8 or 9 seats. And
Yeah,
that's going on behind the scenes
Right.
as he's talking the big issues, whether it's the coronavirus issue, whether it's a national security issue, whether it's economics, whatever. He's working behind the scenes doing things to rebuild the House of Representatives in his manner, and of course he's now up to 220 federal judges. 220 federal judges.
That's huge,
That's
because
huge.
Obama had left him 140.
Yep.
When he left office. He just didn't get to him, I guess. He was busy doing whatever. But you know what? I am thankful after it's all said and done for Obama. I really am. We got shellacked in that election, and we have learned a lot from how Obama ran campaigns, and we're now beginning the similar tactics, and it's working, and we're going to get even better results, because we got whipped once,
twice.
Like, okay, we got to learn something, guys.
2008, 2012.
And today I was out, I'm always telling the people, always get off the couch, get out and do something, get involved in your community. This morning I was out knocking on doors, talking to independents in South Tampa, and just doing a little quick survey saying, hey, with the elections coming up, how are you going to vote this year? Are you leaning towards the Democrat, the Republican side? What's a hot issue for you? The economy, education, jobs. Just some how do you vote early or do you vote the day of? So just some general questions. We had a lot of positive response. I'm really surprised with the independents out there saying, well, I mean, yeah, I want to keep it going. We had a few of them that were just a bit odd. One to make sure that we had on every planet. I think that was a Bernie supporter. But all the rest, you could always tell the conservatives, they knew, they had it down. They had been watching the media. They actually, for people say they get sick of watching it, the debates and everything. They said, the economy stays strong. I had Spanish people I encountered that they needed the immigration thing to continue going forward, and that's supposed to be a no-no. But as a Hispanic, you know what? I don't have a problem with people that are here legally, but the ones that are illegal, and those who want to collect my tax dollar for their benefits, they have no benefits. They're here legally. So that's a hot issue, definitely for Hispanics in our community.
Well,
But it was a great walk and a lot of good people out there.
Okay, we got a caller. So I just wanted to make sure folks knew that we had a rally. Well, I'm saying we, but it happened in Tampa on Dale Mabry and Columbus Drive.
That was a big one.
With over 300 Cubans. It was a Cuban, it was spontaneous, I was told, but it was a rally with
That was huge.
Folks holding Cuban signs saying, Cubans for Trump, and that was last weekend. Over 300 people showed up for that rally. Okay,
That was
caller,
amazing.
welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And what say you?
It's Joe Roberts for West Tampa, man. I got a
Hey,
question
Joe.
for the GOP
Bring it.
boss man. I want to know, what is the local Hillsborough County GOP doing to increase the number of blacks that are coming to the Republican Party, and the thousands of black Republicans you do have in there? How you getting them motivated to become active and participants like Eddie and everybody else around here? And what you going to do to try to get people that's been on the fence, black, to get in the party? Because this is a black talk show. Eddie doing a good job for conservatives. I want to hear what this guy from the GMP of Hillsborough County, having been on both sides of the fence, why and what y'all doing to help black folks, and how y'all going to get that involved here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe.
Joe, that's a good question. And let me first start off by, I'll answer it in two parts here. First, we don't deny anybody, as long as I'm chairman here, if someone wants to step up and run, we are welcome. I don't care about whether they're black, white, they're whatever. We want and we encourage people to run, and we will step back. One of the things I do within the Republican Party is I don't pick favorites. It's an equal opportunity for everybody. You step up, and if you want to run, you run. And we'll let you run, and you will, if there's 4 candidates in that race, they'll go into a primary, and may the best person win. That's how it's done. So we're always waiting. We encourage. Now, here's the other thing that we're doing side by side with the Trump campaign. The Trump campaign has a number of programs that are being put into place. In fact, I met yesterday with the new director for regional engagement for the black community. He is going to be solely in charge of Hillsborough County. They're going to be opening up an office in the next few weeks in the black community in Tampa. He is a black gentleman, smart young guy. I had a 2-hour discussion with him, myself and some of our party members. On top of that, there's another group that's coming in. It's called Black Victory for Trump. And they're going to be in the community here, and they're going to be out working and doing all the things that we do, like both parties do, is walk, knock doors, get the vote out. So that's a big step forward, and we're going to be working closely with them.
Excellent.
And as I tell any program that comes in, they're welcome to work in my office. I will give them office space. I will give them all the time in the world. I will give them whatever they need to do that. And of course, the Trump campaign is going to be opening their own office there. So that's a first. As long as I've been in the Republican Party here since 2011, and that's never been done before. So what we're seeing is the concerns of both President Trump and the Republican Party of Florida and
Reaching out to the black community, that's awesome.
We're reaching out, and we have a number of blacks from our community who are joining the party. I just had a gentleman and his wife come in yesterday, so we are increasing numbers. In April, we are going to be sponsoring 2 tables at the NAACP Freedom Dinner at the Tampa Bay Convention Center. I've built a really great relationship with my good friend Yvette Lewis, who is the president of that, and we've been working with her on a regular basis to discuss, reach out, talk about the things that need to be done. So, you know, we're inclusive of everyone. I'm here. I need all boots on the ground from everybody. It doesn't matter. We're here to work together, and we're here, of course, as Republicans to get Donald Trump elected and to get other Republicans in the community elected who come from the same ideas, thinking to improve and make the county better.
And an important thing that's happening too, you know, I have had a voice in this community for over 10 years. So, you know, we started on WGUL and went to TBCN. But I have been here on TMP talking to you guys, you know, for a number of years, being the #1 show on the station, on TMP, you know, because we have a diverse audience. I mean, you know, half of my audience, at least half of my audience, is probably white folks that I brought with me when I came to TMP from when we started and kind of developed and grew. And the Hillsborough County Republican Executive Committee has been part of that growth, part of what we've been doing. You know, the fact that they got 2 tables, you know, at the NAACP, you know, Freedom Fund makes a statement, because I can remember years and years and years ago, you know, everybody in the black community say, well, Republicans don't care, they don't get involved, they only show up during election time. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. You know, we've had a voice, and when I'm saying we, and I'm talking about Republicans, that have a voice in this community for a long time. And then anybody that personally knows me know I get involved. We have been involved. We've fought battles together because, you know, like I tell folks all the time, you know, the community comes first. You know, I'm working my butt off to make sure things happening in this community on a positive note. You know, how we make things better for everybody. You know, not just black folks, but everybody. But primarily, and I don't have no problem saying black and white. And my primary concern is moving this community as a whole together. Like I said, we had a meeting this morning with the mayor, and the mayor understands. And this is a different mayor than the last mayor we had. And I got to say, she's doing a great job so far. I mean, you know,
well, she's talking to you, Eddie, and that's part of the deal.
Yeah,
They're going to be able to talk to the community leaders, say, hey, we want to help, and then never talk to them. That's not going to work, but if they certainly make time for you.
Well, Bob Buckhorn was a different type of mayor than Jane Castor, and I think Jane Castor is going to make, you know, the community as a whole, some things happen that's going to be a benefit to everybody that's in the community. primarily, East Tampa and West Tampa, where spending has been, proportional to what's happening in the entire rest of the city. So the Republican Party, and with its great leadership, the current leadership that's there, is making statements, and even nationally, because I'm in communication with Camilla Prince, who is the national, minority black person that's working from the Trump campaign in Washington, D.C. So I get a report every couple of weeks of what's happening, things that's going on, get invited to stuff. And like I say, the last time Trump came here, I was at Tech High School. I went to the event for the president at Tech. And then I supposed to went to the fairground, supposed to been on stage, but because, they locked us in that Tech, I couldn't get to the fairground, so I couldn't be on the stage, at the fairground. But this year that won't happen, because now I know,
You got it figured out.
Show up at the main event, if you got a place on the stage. So again, that's a good thing. And this is not your grandmama's or granddaddy's Republican Party. Things are happening for our community. And like Trump said, what you got to lose. And enough folks have seen and bought into that, and they're now winning. And if you know something about Trump, he's saying, have you got tired of winning yet? Nope, I have not anyway.
And having just somebody with a change of attitude, folks, it's not playing the political game. The political game, we all understand from the minority standpoint of they'll show up once every 4 years. Hey, vote for me, I'm your friend, I'll be with you when you need me. And they get in power, and then they forget you. But with the Trump administration, they have been reaching out with their people, as well as they're trying to make sure that, if you just looked at the roster of the people that this administration has put in power in Washington, D.C., a lot of excellent qualified black men and women, Hispanic men and women that this administration has put in power, not just lip service. They've actually put them, and these are some great people, extremely smart people that he's put in power that represent the black community, the Hispanic community. So this is not just talk. This is doing it. And if you looked at his administration, who he has running a lot of his big department heads, it's more likely a minority, a lady for sure.
Yeah.
He's got, but he's a bottom line guy. And I think that pragmatist is a word that a lot of us don't quite grasp, but understand that he wants the job done. And he wants to pick the best person. He doesn't care what the color of your skin is, can you get the job done? And whether they're gay, his top project leader he's had for 20, 30 years now, gay lady, she's been running a lot of his projects, a lot of his big, so the man just bottom line. What can you do for your country?
Well, like I said, and it's important, for the community as a whole to know, and I know we have, I talk all the time about black female magic that happens here, black girl magic, it happens because we got some tremendous, leaders,
strong ladies
that show up and they make stuff happen and get things done, but what I'm saying to you, that it's important that, and I'm not, so I don't want nobody to write and call and say something, say Eddie said Jew, because I know that happened to one of our other leaders, but the Jewish community as a whole supports both parties, so that no matter who wins, win, lose, or draw, that they're going to benefit. At some point in time, as a community, we're going to learn that, because politics is politics, and we haven't had the same president for over 12 years, in the history of, we had one that was 12, that had been president for 12 years, but every so many years, it's going to change. So how do your community survive the change? If you support people on both sides, you're gonna be on the front of that arrowhead. When things start happening, that the front of that spear, because eventually it's going to change. But our community and the work done by the local Republican Party is going to make a difference, and I know it's going to make a difference. Because you got some good people like Jim and some other people that's involved in the leadership of the local Republican Party that I know will make a difference. And anytime that you got an issue that you want to talk about, Jim, if you want to give them a number they can call, or a website or something, how to get in contact with you.
Well, you can go to the Hillsborough County Republican Party, hillsborough.gop. It's pretty simple, and you can ask questions there. I'll give you my personal phone number, 81328.
I don't think I have that. That's pretty good.
If you have a question, we'd be glad to try to answer it for you, and if I can't get it right off the cuff, I'll get an answer for you. But we're about, you know, talking with the community and getting people involved. We need people engaged and involved. We need people who are out there, like Eddie all the time, like Gabriel, like Tim, everybody who goes out and does all different kind of things, whether it's walking the neighborhoods, knocking doors, making phone calls. I've seen Tim around running piles of signs in the back of his truck out there, all kinds of things. We need people engaged, we need people talking, getting the word out. Just give us a call, and if you're interested, we'll do that. And I want to point out particularly, you know, one of the first people who I met when I first joined the Republican Party back about 10 years ago was Eddie, and he's been a stalwart president of the Temple Terrace Republican Club, a very active club. Do a lot of great things. They're involved in the parades. They're involved in the Juneteenth program every June. So many things that Eddie is involved in, and that's the kind of things that we need in the community to help the community. It's about getting engaged and helping the community for the kinds of things that need to be done. And, you know, that's really where, you know, it comes into play, where the rubber hits the road and getting things done out there, whether you're raising money for candidates, whether you're stumping for candidates, whether you're dropping material on people's doorsteps. There's so many things, and I appreciate everything that Eddie's done, and Gabriel too, in the Hispanic Latino community. So many things that he has done over the years with regard to getting the vote out and bringing people in. As they were talking about earlier, a big rally we had last week in central Tampa, 300 people sign waving for.
That's pretty huge.
That was probably the biggest sign waving that I know of that we've had.
Wow.
For any president, at least since I've been involved.
That's pretty huge. Jim,
And that was the Cuban community.
that was a Cuban, yeah. So Jim, the question is I have for you, and been cooking in my head here, is from prior Republican leadership, compared to where we are currently, from what you're getting from above on what needs to be changing, what needs to be done, what's the biggest change you can say? Past Republican parties, we used to go this route, now we see a direction in the community possibly in this direction. What do you see as the biggest change?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the engagement from the standpoint of the president. He is making it so much easier for us to get out and put a message out because of all the positive things that he's been doing. You talked about it a little bit earlier, you know, the impact on the economy, the creation of jobs. You know, we joke sometimes with saying it's hard to get volunteers because everybody's working.
Yeah.
But you know, we can get around that. But I mean, that's true. I've heard that.
So the level of engagement.
The level
increased.
of engagement has definitely increased. You know, we work at the state level as well, and I see what's going on in the other counties.
Okay.
They're all engaged. Every single weekend, there's something going on. And
Whether events, door
whether events,
knocking,
everything.
sign waving,
Yeah.
Voter registration,
voter registration.
which is big, and the numbers that we're seeing nationwide of people who are flipping their vote, flipping their registration, become Republicans and support Trump is massive. There's a lot of articles out there in the last couple of weeks talking about that, and
okay.
you know, we're going to have an event. If you know of or heard of Brandon Straka, he's the founder of the Walkaway, leave the Democratic Party and walk away and become a Republican. He's going to be here in Tampa in April. I think it's April 16th at USF.
Really?
And we're working with USF College Republicans and the Trump campaign to
That's
sponsor
awesome.
that. And those are the kind of people that we're going to be bringing in. You know, just a taste of just this year alone. You know, we've had Sidney Powell, who was General Mike Flynn's lawyer, was our guest speaker last month.
So you're saying you're going beyond the point of thinking about doing stuff to things that are on the calendar.
we are ratcheting up
There we go.
as much as we possibly can. You know, we're working every day, 7 days a week, day in and at night. We're always engaged with groups, meeting with different groups. We're getting calls all the time. We're going to be putting on an event down in Waimama in southeast Hillsborough County because they asked for it. They said,
Right.
we want to see Republicans down here. We've already gone down there and met with them. We brought the
And
Florida
that's a
director.
very Hispanic area. I've been down there.
We went down there, we talked with Hispanics, with farmers, what have you, to find out what's going on. It's a growing area. Brought the state director for the Trump campaign with us, to show him that, look, he's taking the time out to come down and sit down with you, and we sat down in a barn.
You know, I've been out there once or twice, and each time I had to fill my car up with gas and make sure I had food in the car and a blanket, just in case. It's on the edge of Hillsborough County.
It's down in southeastern part of the county.
Way out there.
But, you know, this is all about engagements. We're working with we have 15 clubs in the county, Republican clubs in the county that we're working with. We're doing a lot. We're doing a lot of radio interviews.
And we appreciate having you there today.
And not to compete with you, but, you know, it's all about multiplying and magnifying. We're gonna be doing another show, set up with one of our party members who's gonna be doing a show on Salem Media. Starting
We've been there.
That's where we started.
Back in the beginning.
Yeah, I remember that.
We moved along.
So, you know, these are the kind of things that we're doing with the party to get the word out, to get people engaged. Information flow is the most important things. People need to know what's going on.
Now, hold on real quick. You said the word engage. I just want to clarify for everybody listening. Engage means staying off the couch. Go ahead.
That's right, exactly. And we encourage people to, you know, do their own thing. We've got a program now where, and it's going to increase, but every other week we're doing on Friday afternoons flag and sign wavings around the county.
Okay.
One of our members, Jeff Lukens, who everybody
Sweetheart,
knows,
great guy.
He's
Great guy.
taken that on and he is set up, and that's going on.
So his wife is tough, but he's a sweetheart.
And those are the kind of things that people need to get involved in. We're
awesome.
giving people things. Come
Planning
join
to
us,
do?
come
Yeah.
do us,
Yeah.
show up.
Planning to
But
do.
Timber Terrace Republican Club does sign waving at least once a month. So for the last several months, we've been on the corner of Fowler and 56th Street. So, you know, on Friday afternoons, at least once a month, we're on that corner, you know, sign waving. So I know that's happening all over the county. And something to kind of add to something that the chairman said, when we first started, you know, 10 years ago on WGUL, the black community, and our regular listeners have heard me tell the story before, they wasn't ready for a black and a Hispanic. And Gabriel been here since the beginning. You know, black and Hispanic conservative, you know, politicians talking and politicals, you know, bringing issues. You know, I know the community was not ready for it, but it's taken us, you know, 7 to 8 years to prepare for the move, to have direct conversation with you. And I know when we first started, a lot of you guys were throwing stuff at your radio. You know, you was kind of upset, but you was listening. So the fact that you're still listening,
They don't call as much as they used to, but I get on it
and
now.
we've been here for 3.5 years, and see
Top show again.
some of you tell
Okay.
me, oh, Eddie, you changed. No, I have not changed. I can play shows that we did 10 years ago, we did 8 years ago, 7 years ago. My message has been the same. What's happening is you have heard it, you have, you know, internalized it, and now, you know, whether you know or not, it's become part of you and part of your thinking.
And
You
a
know,
part of that is common sense, folks.
Yeah.
That's all we try to
Yeah.
do. We bring information to you, and Eddie's always said, and I've always backed him up, you know, we're not here to be as the experts.
Right.
You are welcome to go research it yourself.
Right.
Now, if you tell me you just researched it on CNN, that ain't gonna work. But if you do out research, you look it up, find out for yourself, we bring information to your front door, like sharing the good news, sharing the gospel.
Making
You decide,
opportunities.
yeah, you decide what you're gonna do with it. You either accept it or you don't. That's on you. We bring you the information. Go look it up. You don't believe us, that's just fine. call us out. We actually had one guy call us in and say, hey, wait a minute, you said this, but it was actually this. And you're like, oh, you're right about that.
Yeah.
And we're good with that.
That's how we do
We're
it.
good.
We just don't want you to call thinking you can call this show and bash Trump or do any of that other stuff.
Yeah.
No, we're not politically correct, so I don't have no problem cutting you off, because if you're doing stuff that you can do on all the other shows that come on Saturday on TMP, you got 10 shows that you can call and bash Trump, and then all the people gonna go with you. But you won't do it here, because that's not the nature of our show. Our show is to bring a positive message, about what's happening in the community.
And just information and just facts, and you guys are intelligent, y'all
Yeah.
are smart people, y'all
Yeah.
can go look it up yourself and go, wow, they're right about that. Okay, and then you gotta decide in November coming up, we had the most facts and truth and positive things happen here, and then over here, not much at all after 3-4 years with our tax dollars paying their salaries.
Folks lying to you.
Yeah, this group of politicians didn't help us at all.
Right.
If that's the case, why would you want to continue that? No, you don't have to. You're the taxpayer. You pay for all that. You say, forget that. How about if I just go with this workaholic, which Trump is a workaholic, who doesn't need my money, and he really doesn't because he donates all his paychecks away, and he wants to do what's right for our country. Right now, we're suffering, if you guys haven't heard, with the China thing, all the issues they're having over there. The Wuhan virus, technically, but okay, China. Coronavirus.
It's been around since 1932,
Oh, yeah.
so it ain't new.
But the biggest issue
though
with
they say
this,
it is.
folks, and this is the globalist mindset, is that China is the place that has 98% of our penicillin comes from China. Well, the minute they get hit with something stupid like this, guess what? We don't have any penicillin now. We shot ourselves in the foot. If we would have had our own manufacturing happening here in our nation, it wouldn't matter what's going on in China. But now, last month, we didn't have anything come in because of this.
And that's what
Supply,
President
demand.
Trump is changing, is
Right.
to
Make us more self-sufficient?
Make us more self-sufficient. He's already done that with energy, and
Boom.
he will be doing that we're seeing more and more industrialization come back to America,
Yep.
and that's what's helping create jobs. And he's giving people tax breaks and reduced regulations so that those small business entrepreneurs are not up against a wall of regulation
Right.
that they can't get started in their garage
Yeah.
with whatever their idea is.
Like
And,
Apple.
that's what he's doing, and that's
Yeah.
what's giving people opportunity, where I can try out my idea and it's not gonna cost me an arm and a leg.
Right.
And if it fails, I'm not gonna be
Right.
in the poorhouse, so to
Right.
speak,
Right.
because I invested so much, because I had to pay so much on regulations and fees and licensing and all that stuff. He's giving people opportunity, and that's really what it's all about. It's entrepreneurism, and if you have an idea, knock yourself out, and you may have the next greatest invention.
And one of the things, and the important thing here, between myself and Gabriel and the chairman, we know, and we had this conversation before the show began, voting is a private process. When you go in that booth, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, who you vote for is your secret. You don't have to tell anybody, even if somebody come and asks you who you voted for after you voted, you can tell them what the hell you want, because the nature of it is, you feel how you feel. And again, some people may vote party ticket, all that kind of stuff, but more and more people are becoming educated, and they're understand that, the party don't always give us winners. Sometimes they give us losers. And if you're a Democrat and you've been doing party ticket all along, we're just saying, you ain't got to tell your Democratic friends that you voted for the Republican on the ticket, or a Republican, or several Republicans on the ticket. You just do it, keep it to yourself, and we understand, because I have Democrats, yellow dog Democrats. I have some people that don't like me very well. Some even say they hate me, because of my politics, but that don't change them, that don't change me, that don't change how I feel about them, because I know if you keep listening, if you're listening to this show, eventually you're going to get it. And then when it becomes your idea, you'll internalize it, and when you go in, you won't have no problem voting for who you think is the best candidate, who's going to support and help your community improve.
And for all you independents out there, just a random sampling this morning is out knocking on doors. We had at least 60% of the independents saying they're going to have to go for Trump because they like what's happening in our country right now. So if you're an independent, you can't vote right now, but towards November, Actually, you can go and change, can't you?
Yep, yes, you can.
That's,
For
so
the
many days in
primary.
advance?
Yeah, for the primary, you can't cut the elections next week, the
that-
17th next
it's
week.
the cutoff was February 18th
Yeah.
for the primary.
Right.
But,
That was for the presidential preference
Primary.
primary. But for the August primary, you
Primary.
can do that up until, I believe,
A month
it's
before the election. A month before the election.
And then again, you can do it again for the November election.
Right.
So, and a lot of people strategize and do that, but I think we're finding more, and I have to say it, and I'm being perfectly honest, more and more people are changing so that they can vote for Trump and so that they can vote Republican. And that's
Right.
the thing we're seeing. Just last week, over the last 10 days, I think we've had about 15 people come into the office or call and say, I'd like to change my voter registration from Democrat to Republican. That's happening. That's just a snapshot of about a 10-day period in Hillsborough County that we're aware of. We don't know of people who've
Registration.
gone
Right.
and done it without calling, you can go to the SOE, Supervisor of Election Office, and change it.
Statewide.
We don't know.
mm,
Those people do it, and we don't know what's going on in the rest of the state, but we hear from other
Right. Yeah.
Republican parties in the other counties that the same thing is happening. So, it will probably be, a while before we know how many nationwide,
Right.
Sure.
or at least certainly statewide, how many have switched. But it's a movement that's going on, and people are changing. They feel good about Trump. I had a whole bunch of shirts made up for myself to wear that say Trump victory on it, and I go into places, gas stations, delis, wherever I am. I have never had a negative comment. Nobody's ever said anything to them. Most people say, I like your shirt, where can I get it?
there you go, and I've
Yeah.
got my cap, Keep America Great, the second one I have now, and I have traveled the nation, I've traveled into Walmarts around the world, it seems like, and,
You had
very
to mention
much.
Walmart.
Yeah, I had mentioned Walmart. Been down to the Hispanic flea markets, looking for junk basically, and I actually have had one lady in a Hispanic flea market, actually it was basically a Mexican flea market, yell out of the blue and say, "Hey, I voted for him." Everybody was in shock. I have never had a negative statement or anything said with me wearing my cap as a Hispanic throughout this nation. I am thankful.
And again, this is not your grandpapa's or your great-great-grandpapa's Republican Party. It is considerably different. And the fact that more blacks, there's several national movements of black folks changing over. Literally, Brexit, and you got Candace Owens out there who may eventually end up in the Tampa Bay, because I heard somebody was trying to get her, to come, that'd be excellent.
That'd be awesome.
The fact of the matter that we can get national attention, from people showing up in your home state, your home county, your home city, who's changing the picture. And it's happening with or without you. I'm just saying, folks in Pinellas County, I go to events in Pinellas County. I am so well received in Pinellas County, even better now than it was when I was a candidate. So when I go over there to events now, folks remember when I was running for U.S. Congress, and making a difference, and I've been fighting the battle for such a long time. To folks in Tampa, folks in Hillsborough County, folks in Pinellas County, the effort has been there. And again, I'm one of the folks who've been on the front line. I've been on the battlefield for a long time, and I'm not tiring. I'm getting older. Every time I see these old entertainers, I think, I've been fighting this battle for a while, but it's good, and it feels better when you're winning these battles than it does when you're losing. So I'm like Trump. I'm loving winning.
And folks, it's kind of that passion thing that we're not saying directly that we have for what we're doing. We love what we do. We love helping people. We like to see people help themselves in their life and their families get moved along without having to be dependent on a check coming in the mail, hopefully. So the fact that we're wanting to have people engaged, involved, and off the couch, out knocking on doors, waving flags, whatever it is, voter registration. There's a lot to do to make sure that this is going to happen right now. I just project out, I think we're going to have like a Reagan landslide. Because when Ronald Reagan went in for his second term, he knocked it beyond the ballpark. It was just phenomenal. That's going to happen here again, I believe, because the minorities are bringing up the slack, huge. And it's just, people are just looking at, well, we're doing pretty good right now. Why do we want to stop this?
Crossover. That's what's going to make a difference.
Big
Crossover
time.
vote. And again, if like I said, if you choose, and your great grandmama would roll over in their grave, which is what people tell me, a great granddad would roll over if they knew you voted for Republican. That's a silent vote. You can show up, because I have some black pastors who told me, Eddie, if anybody knew, I say, they ain't got to know. It's a private process. When you show up in that ballot, booth and you go to vote, vote for your, vote from your soul, vote from your heart, where you can see where it's going. This is not happening in a vacuum. You got a whole bunch of people lying to you. But one thing we do every Saturday at 1 o'clock, we bring you the truth. And as long as we keep doing that, you get to determine, the benefit of that truth or not. Now, I'm going to take this point in the time to do our on this day.
Here we go.
Because it's kind of
It is
like a public service,
pet peeve
like
thing. He
a
loves this
public
thing.
service, and we got listeners that love this too. So on this day, on March the 7th, in 1876, Alexander Graham Bell received a patent, which was patent number 174,465 for his telephone. And folks have to know that he wasn't the only one doing a telephone back in them days, but he had his patented.
But you know what, today, I bet you Alexander Graham Bell never knew that today we couldn't go to the bathroom without it.
Yep.
Moving on.
Okay. Little known fact. Okay. On this day, on March the 7th in 1901, a grand jury indicted 4 citizens of Anderson, South Carolina, that had been operating a slavery system, that was part of South Carolina's system. It was determined that they had employed, they captured travelers, African Americans who was traveling. They was jailed, and then they put them to work for some of the local landholders. I don't know if you guys saw the movie 12 Years a Slave. That was part of that whole process. That guy, was a freedman.
That was a good movie.
He was a
like
freedman. He got captured. He got sent to slavery, and it took 12 years for his family to find him and to set him free. Well, it was that kind of operation.
Wow.
So it was this day in 1901 that those folks got indicted. Also on March the 7th in 1911, in the wake of a Mexican Revolution, the U.S. sent 20,000 troops to the borders of Mexico. So it ain't like this is the first time we had issues and done it, but back then the president didn't waste no time. He sent 20,000 troops
That's strong.
to protect the borders. And last but not least, for March the 7th in 1933, the board game Monopoly, which I think at some point in time every child plays Monopoly, was invented.
And I won on that too. We just recently sent, this happened as of 3 days ago, I think, we sent 150, 175 troops down to our border again out of California. I just read that because of some issues down there. They're afraid there's going to be a run on our border. Wow, that's a big deal, folks. When the Pentagon has to send people down there, not just the local governor, hey, I need some weekend warriors to show up. The Pentagon gets involved. That's a big deal.
Well, something else too, and see, we have the show, we have the show, we have the group meet before the show, then we have the show, then we have the group meet after the show. Because before the show started today, we had the conversation, and one of our engineers here at the radio station was saying, that she didn't like Trump because Trump was a bully, and I thought about it, and I said, you know, it's about time we had a bully, somebody in the White House, someone that was running stuff, that got stuff done. So now she's saying that we got to call her. So
Yep.
she knew we was talking about her. So
In a nice way.
So welcome.
She's nice.
Welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello. Caller.
Yep.
Okay. See, now the caller checked out.
They were so they were so excited to get to talk to Jim.
Yeah.
They just dropped the phone and hung up.
Yeah, they knew we were having a interesting conversation.
Ready for bear.
So they call and then they chicken out.
Boom.
So you know, but
It's
that's
all good.
But that's okay. You know, and I said we needed what we really needed was some real leadership in Washington D.C. We need somebody who will stand up for the United States, you know, and say we got a bad deal, and not be embarrassed, not be pigeonholed, not be bowing to lesser leaders, you know, for lesser governments in other parts of the world. And I truly believe, me personally, Eddie Adams Jr. believe that we needed somebody that would stand up and not be bent over, you know, when it comes to making deals and treaties and making agreements with other leaders in other parts of the world.
This week, Mr. Trump was asked about, don't you think you're pushing on the media too hard? And Trump said, they're pushing on me. I'm supposed to do what? Just let them because they're the media? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to push back. Now, he pushes back twice as hard, that's true. But now he has his attorneys suing CNN for the lies about the Russian hoax. It was a lie. They knew it to begin with. They continued it after it was exposed to be a lie. They still continued it. So now Trump said, well, fine, I'll stick attorneys on you because they just paid out a lawsuit on another lie they had done on that young man last year sometime that said that he was going against a war vet and he was trying to be aggressive with him, and it was a complete lie. Yeah. And they just
in Washington D.C.
They just settled on that lawsuit. It was huge. It was pretty huge.
Over $100 million.
Yeah. It was pretty darn big for lying. And Trump said, "Well, I want to get in line too." And like, can you imagine what attorneys does Trump have? Oh, the best on the planet.
well, also one other thing too, and this is local. Tampa Park Plaza Tampa Park Apartments was sold last week, and it's got a lot of locals in an uproar about the process because I told folks, you know, we did a plan that included that property in a baseball park deal, and that was a few years ago. That was when Bob Buckhorn was mayor. So we got to call it. Let's see if we can squeeze them in real quick. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where are you calling from? What say you? Quickly.
Hey, I'm Mike, and I was interested in hearing if you guys could help us make Hillsborough County a sanctuary county for Second Amendment.
Let me answer that for you. Perfect timing.
Beautiful.
We are going to propose a resolution at our March meeting next week, next Thursday, to make Hillsborough County a Second Amendment sanctuary county. I have the resolution written. We'll vote on it, after which I will present it to the county commission, and it will be up to them to decide whether they want to go that route. And Pasco County is doing the same thing, and I believe there are already 11 counties in Florida that have proposed that. So we're going to be doing that. So I appreciate you giving us a call, and I'm glad that you brought that up. We're going to do it. We're going to make every effort we can.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, Jim. How to contact you? Phone number, and then we got to sign off. So
Gotta go.
Okay.
Go down.
I'd love to talk to anybody. 8128, and give me a call. We'll talk. Come to our meeting, or go to hillsborough.gop. Just type it in on your computer, Google or whatever, and you'll get right to it.
All right, and next week we'll talk a little bit more about Tampa Park Plaza and what happened there with those 21 acres and the 370 apartments that have been vacated because the property has been sold to a developer, you know, and 1,200 residents have been displaced. So,
wow.
Closing remarks, Gabriel?
God bless America.
All right, until next week, same bat time, same bat station, Tampa Bay, we love you. See ya. Bye-bye.
Boom.